Today I'm going to give you a quick practice tip for when you have a lot of fast double tonguing going on and at the same time you have a lot of fast finger technique to deal with. For a more general discussion about double tonguing, going fast, being as efficient as possible, as well as my all-time favorite double tonguing exercise that I give to all of my students, whether they're just first learning double tonguing or they're very advanced. Check out my episode, The Best Double Tonguing Exercise. There's a lot of information in that. For today, we're talking about passages of music where you have to double tongue really fast and at the same time your fingers are really flying. Some passage like this may be the reason that you have to learn double tonguing in the first place. The earliest place in music that I can remember for me that was very difficult this way was a little passage at the very end of the Benjamin Godard Allegretto that a lot of sort of beginner, early intermediate students play. There's a spot at the very end of the piece. It was a final challenge for me as a little 10-year-old, and I had to practice it a lot to get both my fingers and my tongue to obey. Whenever we have more than one challenging thing to do, we want to isolate those things and deal with them separately. First of all, you deal with the double tonguing that's really difficult, and then you deal with the fingers that are really difficult, or the other way around. So what do? How can we isolate fingers from our tongue when we're working through a difficult passage like this? Well, how do you deal with fingers without dealing with your tongue? I would start by slurring this passage, taking out all the tonguing, or perhaps tonguing every beat or every measure, but really focusing on clean fingers. It can be useful to put the tongue in first just every beat or every measure, because then you know that even though your tongue isn't as active and busy as it will need to be when you're double tonguing, it can hit right with your fingers. That bit of coordination is starting to come together. Practice it a lot with slurs. Start slow, maybe do with different rhythms, speed it up, get it beyond full tempo so that when you have to add the tonguing in, you feel very confident that your fingers are clean. If we're battling double tonguing, sometimes we don't stop to realize that we're also battling our fingers. We might take it for granted that our finger technique is clean and accurate, but when you slur, you might notice, even if you're getting all the right notes, you might have little coordination issues where your fingers really aren't moving exactly together. Slurring is the way to catch all of these issues and get rid of them and pave the way for your double tonguing to be a lot easier and more coordinated with your fingers. Now, if you've practiced slurring and getting your fingers completely clean while you're worrying not at all or very minimally about your tongue, we want to tackle the other difficulty here, which is fast, clear, clean double tonguing. How can we practice this passage and really get our tongue going clear and clean and fast while we're removing the difficulty of our fingers? That's a little trickier question to answer than just putting in slurs to get rid of the difficulty of our tongue. This is how I like to do it. I tell my students, whether they're new double tonguers or quite advanced, to double tongue on each note. Obviously, this does not eliminate the need to move your fingers, but what it does is it halves the tempo that your fingers are moving compared to your tongue's speed. So you can get your tongue going extremely fast and your fingers are still slower than they will need to be in actual performance. To recap, Step number 1 is getting rid of the difficulty of the double tonguing by slurring and just working on your fingers, making sure your fingers are completely clean, and even you can go faster than the final tempo. Step number 2 is to slow your fingers down so that you can concentrate on your double tonguing and do twice as much tonguing through the passage as you normally would. This means that your tongue is going fast while your fingers are going slow. Step number 3, the final hurdle, is of course tongue and finger coordination, putting it all together. But this final step will be much easier when you've been doing both your tonguing and your fingers faster than final tempo. Then you can just calm down, ease up, go final tempo, and it will feel much easier. Of course, you'll probably want to go slower than final tempo for a while and let everything gel so that there's no question that your tongue and your fingers are entirely cooperating with each other and they'll move exactly together. By the way, don't let yourself fall into the trap of telling yourself that this is a technique for newer double tonguers to use, since I've been talking about this kind of early intermediate piece, the Allegretto by Benjamin Godard. This is a great technique no matter how advanced you are. I also have students who are getting ready for major auditions with orchestral excerpts practice this way on the Mendelssohn Midsummer Night's Dream flute excerpt. It's great to practice slurred and double check on your fingers, and then it's great to double tongue on every pitch so that you're getting your tongue going extra fast. If this seems like a great new practice tool to have in your practice toolkit that you can pull out and really improve your tongue and finger coordination and speed, please give this video a like. Or if it just feels like a good reminder, something that you've known you could do but you haven't been doing as regularly lately, give this video a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. It makes me so happy when I get new subscribers. And have a great time practicing your tongue-finger coordination and your double tonguing.